little bit about this book. I so enjoyed sitting with it. It's called Unwrapping the Names of Jesus. What compelled you to write this?
So it started with Unwrapping the Names of Jesus, an Advent devotional, a few years ago, actually. Growing up as a missionary kid, Christmas was not the most magical time of the year. It was the busiest and hardest time of the year just because we were running in all the different directions, holding multiple services a day, doing children's programming. And it was all great and good and wonderful. But this little introverted heart, it was too much for me as a child. And I remember just thinking, I can't wait for Christmas to be over. Like, I just want it to be done so we can get back to our normal routine. And so fast forward about a decade and a half, and I'm married. I have my firstborn, and I'm sitting in a coffee shop with an older mom in our church, and she's saying, "Asheritah, aren't you so excited for Christmas? I mean, you get to have all these fun traditions with your oldest, with Carissa, and this is going to be so much fun." And usually I would just like paste on a smile and roll with it. But because of the trust and relationship that I had built with that older mom, I looked at her and I said, "No, honestly, I'm not excited about Christmas. And also I'm kind of worried that I'm going to ruin Christmas for my children. Like, I don't know how to do it in a way that brings life and joy. I just know what I don't want." And I don't know. I'm afraid of being a Grinch, I guess. And that sweet older mom looked at me and she said, "Asheritah, your history, the way things were as a child, it doesn't necessarily have to repeat in your family. Like, you get to decide what Christmas is like for you and for your family. You get to start new traditions. Why don't you go home and pray and ask that God would help you rediscover the wonder of Christmas?" That's where that phrase keeps coming from. It's from that mom in my church. And so I did. I went home and I prayed and I said, "God, I mean, I know that everything we did as a missionary family was service to you. And I know that it served the people that we got to be with. But I don't know. I don't know how to rediscover that the season is about Jesus. Like, we say it's about Jesus, but it doesn't really feel that way. Would you help me? Would you lead me?" And he did. He led me, this is 10 years ago now, he led me to study the names of Jesus in the days leading up to Christmas. And so every name that I studied, Lion of Judah, Light of the World, Prince of Peace, the Good Shepherd, all these names felt like a gift, a present of who Jesus offers himself to us, in what we can discover about his character and his presence and his love toward us, different facets of that in each different name. So that year leading up to Christmas, I remember after unwrapping 20 different names of Jesus, walking into the church service on Christmas Eve, seeing the manger set there, and just being overcome with a heart of wonder and adoration and worship, and possibly discovering Christmas for the first time in the beauty and simplicity of Emmanuel, God with us, God come to be with us. And so I wanted that. I wanted to spread that joy and wonder with other people as well. And that led me to write the Advent devotional, Unwrapping the Names of Jesus. And after 5 years, it was published with Moody Publishers. And after 5 years, so many families had used it with their families that they said, "We want something for our little kids too. We want something that can kind of help our children capture these ideas of these names of who Jesus is." And so that's what led to the children's book that you're now holding today.
You know, Asheritah, I just love that whole story because it mirrors so much what you said at the beginning about how sometimes we can't find that right picture of Jesus. And in fact, it makes me I want to go to the one picture that we have of the Good Shepherd of the inside of the book. We have that picture, and just they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. That smile and joy on Jesus's face there that your illustrator is communicating, that you communicated through the words, I mean, doesn't that just deconstructs the harshness and the so much of the law side of what we think of related to God? Could you just speak to that whole idea of rediscovering that picture of Jesus in your life and heart?
Yeah, John 1 says that no one has seen the Father, but the Son, the one and only Son who sits at his right hand, he has made him known. And so we know what God is like by looking at Jesus' life. That is how we discover who Jesus is, by looking at the Gospels and saying, how did he interact with people? How did he welcome people to come to himself? And so that spread, the Good Shepherd, I think just captures that heart of Jesus, that the Good Shepherd who would leave the 99 to go and find the one. And Jesus says that when the one comes home, heaven rejoices. There's a celebration. There's this exuberance of joy. And so pairing that name of Good Shepherd with Jesus' call, let the little children come to me. Don't hold them back. The kingdom of heaven belongs to those like these. It helps, I think, to read the Gospels through the lens of the names of Jesus, because it helps us interpret, okay, what does this mean about Jesus? The multiplication of the bread and the fish was miraculous for the 5,000 people who were there that day. But Jesus offers himself as the bread of life to each and every one of us. We don't need a miraculous multiplication of our breakfast to experience how Jesus provides for us in our emotional needs and our relational needs, so many ways that he is the bread of life. So the names give us a way to kind of capture a facet or help our hearts understand the many different ways that Jesus offers himself to us. And I think when we do that, it really does help bring to life that hope, that joy, the excitement, once again, that first love. I mean, in the book of Revelation, Jesus says to one of the churches, you've lost your first love. Like, you're doing all the right things, but where is your love? And I think that's his call to the church today. Come back to me. Rediscover this love and this joy of who I am.